Identifying character traits. Why do I need to know character traits? You'll recognize this large sticky note from our anchor chart where we've been studying characters. Expect characters to be complicated and show more than one trait. Well, to be able to do this, you need to be able to identify character traits in the first place before you can identify multiple traits of characters.
Traits have one character bit and is usually seen through action. Traits describe the character's personality. Now to stop. How does the character behave? Confident, optimistic, brave, determined, protective, thoughtful.
So how do we decide what character traits a character has? One of the ways to do that is to use text evidence. So there are some excerpts here on this screen that show sections of our mentor text we've been reading in class, Popularity. And the character Will, who we know has been thinking about how can he move from being with the very unpopular Allens and picking 4-leaf clovers at recess to joining the popular kids on the playground. So you'll see in the first corner, we see the excerpt that says, "We had been looking for 4-leaf clovers every school day for 6 months, and each of us knew exactly what he would do if he ever found one. He would hold the lucky clover tight in his hand, close his eyes, and wish he was so popular he would never have to spend time with the other two again." So when I look at that text, close his eyes and wish he was so popular he would never have to spend time with the other two again, I think to myself, wow, these guys are the ones that he's been with for months. How can he just be so dismissive of them? And it made me think, is Will uncaring? Is that a trait that Will is demonstrating? A personality trait that he's uncaring? So I'm going to save that piece of evidence, and I'm going to look at this next part where I see some evidence that Will is observant. I noticed that every time Mitch said something funny, he eyed Sean Owens to see if he was laughing. He was, silently. His mouth was open, but it was the laughter of the other boys that filled the silence. I realized then that Mitch was Sean's jester. As long as he could make Sean laugh, he was assured a prominent position in the group. So as I read that, thinking to myself, wow, he's really paying attention. He's watching every move that they make, and he's learning about them. What does that show about Will? To me, it shows that Will is observant. So I'm going to add a sticky note to my text that Will is observant. So now I can see two character traits for Will. He's uncaring about the Allens. Does that mean he's going to be uncaring about other people later? He's observant. He's observant in his attempts to try to get into this group of popular boys. Am I going to see other evidence that he might be observant in other ways? That's something I'm going to keep an eye out for. Here's another piece of evidence that I found from our mentor text. Right here, that's bottom left. I returned to the group every recess for 3 days. I stood, unnoticed, just outside the outer circle, waiting for my moment, for the one joke or wisecrack that would make me popular. So when I see that, I think, wow, that is really determined. He is very determined. 3 days, he stood there on the outskirts of that circle, just outside the circle, waiting for a chance to get in. That shows that he's determined. And I'm going to take a look because there's another piece of evidence that I noticed where he said, I wanted to be a part of the noise and the laughter. I needed to be popular. So to me, that's another piece of evidence from the text that shows that Will is determined. He's determined to make it into this group. He's determined to not be with the Allens anymore. So now I can see two places in the text where I can see that Will is determined. So this is one of the things that you will try when you're reading your books. Keep your sticky notes nearby. If it's your own book, you can mark it up. If not, mark with the sticky notes. Keep track of the things that happen in the story, the actions. It could be the outward actions that the character makes, like him standing unnoticed every day outside that circle waiting, to the inside character traits that are the things that he's thinking about, like closing his eyes and wishing he was so popular he would never have to spend time with the other two again. So looking for evidence in the text, both of his outward behaviors and also his inner thinking, that can show what traits he actually possesses. Now I want you to try. Here's another piece of text from our mentor text, Popularity, featuring Will. Find evidence that Will is observant. Use markup to identify the evidence and upload a screenshot of this page with the evidence identified to Google Classroom. And so, with the single-mindedness of a scientist, I listened to the jokes the other boys made, hoping to align my comic sensibilities with theirs. Now and then, I found myself on the verge of saying something, but every time I opened my mouth to speak, Mitch would launch into another routine, and my moment passed, and I had to resign myself to yet another day in the park. Another day in the dark. I did not know then that Popularity has a lifespan, and that Mitch's time was about to run out.